Did you know that approximately 15% of an adolescent's life is spent in the schooling system? If you consider about 6 hours per day multiplied by the typical 180 instructional days, that comes out to a grand total of 2,340 days over 13 years of schooling. If students are spending so much time in the schooling system, it's probably quite important to realize the effects that the schooling system has on their lives. With myself being a part of the modern schooling system, I can tell you that it often is quite stressful. The very difficult standardized tests that we have to take and the projects and the homework assignments can cause me to have feelings of overwhelmedness and just to have stress and anxiety that you would never think that students should feel. Many other students agree with me on this, and there's quite extensive research that has been done to show this. The schooling system is quite detrimental to students' mental and physical health. So what I would like to focus on today is the schooling system and its effect on mental and physical health, and different modernized schooling systems in different countries and how it affects their students' mental and physical health. So first, I'd like to focus on the mental health of students. Mental health is directly linked to the feelings of being overwhelmed, anxiety, and stress. There was a study done in Sweden called the School Environment and Mental Health in Early Adolescent Study that took saliva samples from students and tested their cortisol levels, also known as the stress hormone. Also, they did a verbal test asking students how they would rate their general health. 90 children said that they would rate their general health as not very good. That's quite a lot of students who would rate their health as that for being young and typically known as healthy. Also, I would like to focus on a poll taken for a newspaper called Clypean News in South Salem, Oregon. 4 out of 5 of the students in this poll said that they often feel overwhelmed with school and with homework that comes with classes. That's a lot of students who agree on this. Also, it's important to realize that mental health can lead to suicide, feelings of helplessness, and even depression in some cases. In the US alone, 1 in 5 children between the ages of 13 to 18 have or will have some sort of mental illness, with suicide being the second leading cause of death for ages 10 to 24. That's a lot of young people who are put in this situation. And that was done by a study of Kanza Mental Health and Guidance Center by Sean James. Also, many adolescents face depression. 10.7% of all teens face depression, and 29.9% of high school students face depression. Also, 17% of these high school students even contemplate suicide as an option. This was a study done by Maureen Croning. That's a lot of students who are considering suicide when they should be focused on their studies and looking at how they can have a better future. Secondly, I would like to focus on the physical health of these students. Obviously, if you're around several hundred other students, it's easier to contract sicknesses and diseases. This is quite obvious by the situation that's happening currently with the COVID-19 pandemic. At the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, almost every single school, including my own, was shut down and most schools were moved online. It's not hard to see why. We're quite close to other students, and many other students, my school having around 2,000 kids, it's easy to contract these diseases. Secondly, I would like to focus on a study by Peter Wilk. This study was done in Canada and claimed that residential schooling included poorer general and self-rated health and increased rates of chronic and infectious diseases. If you think about how schooling is detrimental to mental health, it is also easy to see why it's detrimental to physical health, as mental health often affects physical health. By this study, The Effects of Stress on Your Body, it says that stress can lead to headaches, upset stomach issues, elevated blood pressures, chest pain, and sleeping problems. It's hard to get your school assignments done when you're more focused on your physical aspect of your body and everything that's going on with you. Also, I would like to focus on the study by Maureen Croning that said depression has been linked to 50% increase in a person's risk of dying from cancer and a 67% increase from heart disease. These are supposed to be young and healthy teens that are focused on not only schooling, but hanging out with their friends, and instead, they might have to focus on having a risk of having heart disease or cancer. Thirdly, I would like to focus on other schooling systems and how they seem to be much more successful than ours. The 2 systems I would like to focus on are Finland and Japan. Firstly, the Finland system. The Finland system, as according to the Harvard education professor Howard Gardner, advised Americans that we should learn from Finland because they have the most effective schools and do just about the opposite as the American schools. We should probably listen to a professor from Harvard, one of the most prestigious schools. Also, Finland doesn't have mass standardized tests, and students are going to school for less time overall with less homework. This is by a study by William Doyle, who shows that this often causes less stress. Also, the Japan system causes students to focus on extracurricular activities first, and they include health education or yoga teachers that are more approachable and help with mental and psychological health, as shown by Nippon.com. Overall, American schools are often detrimental for students' mental and physical health, but it's obvious that systems that are modernized, like Japan and Finland, are doing much better. Our systems have remained the same since about the 19th century. Children are changing, schooling systems should too. Thank you.